Hey, Internet friend, this is your friend Bradley G here in Friendly Fridley, and welcome to Synergy Cafe. It says so on the cup. Ta-da. Someday I'm going to have my physical location Synergy Cafe, but right now it's digital. So I've got a new friend that I found online. I think he found me through a Facebook page or something like that. But his name is Michael Barnes, and we're going to be talking about sort of switching the gears in your brain. There's a way of doing all that stuff. You know, if you focus on the wrong thing, you're going down the wrong road, you're going to get the wrong results. If there's anything such thing as wrong or right. So if you want to stay tuned and hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get Michael. He's in the green room, and we'll talk to you soon. Hang on. There he is. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Not too bad, Brad. How are you doing today?
Wonderful and a half, and then some to the 10th power of infinity is what I tell people.
I love it.
So it's very infinite because we get to choose, right?
Exactly. That is the biggest point is we get to choose.
Where did you find me? Which Facebook group was it? A podcasters group or something? Or
It was a podcasting group. I've been joining like 5 of them a day for the past 3 days, so I don't really remember which one it was.
yeah, I'm out there too. That's the way it works these days.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big world. So we did get connected, and it was fun seeing that because one of my good friends, he's out in LA. His last name is Barnes. I saw that come through. Hey, that sounds familiar. That's one of those little serendipities that happen sometimes. What part of the United States are you residing in?
I am in Norman, Oklahoma.
Alrighty, that's just down 35W from me. I'm in Minneapolis.
I've been through there many times.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay. So you married, got kids, or you single and traveling, a nomad? Oh, you just
here's one of my kids.
Oh, hi there, kitty.
And the other one, well, there's another one right there. I can't move the camera. Got another one right there. Can't move the camera. I don't know where the other one went, but
Oh, you're one of those.
this cat has seen 195,000 miles.
Whoa.
I used to drive a truck. I used to drive a truck. That's why I've been through Minneapolis so many times.
Oh, sure. Well, there's a lot of time there to kind of figure things out where you want to go in life. How long ago was that when you drove truck?
I stopped driving in December of 2020.
Probably a good time. And then, is that when you shifted into what you're doing now? You're basically coaching people, right?
I am coaching people, and because I had a lot of things I had built up and pushed down in my life to where I was just pushing them down, and then trying to cover them up with alcohol.
Sure.
So that's why I quit driving in 2020 is because I caught a DUI.
Got it. I got 3 of those.
Okay. And when push came to shove, I had to figure stuff out. I had to go to treatment court here in Norman. Sailed through it. No issues whatsoever. And about a third of the way through that treatment court, I was approached by not only my probation officer at the time, but also the judge. And said, I've watched you help other people. Why don't you continue doing that? I said, okay. So I would sit in on counseling sessions I wasn't required to be to. I just sit in and actually help other people, maybe get a little bit of dialogue going, things like that. And that's how Building Life Foundations became an entity.
Got it. Yeah, I'm an advocate of coaches, and then my magic background I have a hard time working with coaches because of my magic background. I can kind of see behind the curtain. So when you're asking those questions, I get kind of crafty and figure out my ways of lying around it. You know, I forgot what they call that, but it's ways of avoiding the real issue.
Yep.
Because it's important to have people like you that, especially when a person's like a solopreneur, we got so many of those these days. I start giving myself bad information because that's all I've got to go on.
All right.
Need someone like you to ask that question of who, what, where, when, how, why, which makes my brain start thinking differently. But can't do it to yourself. You got to kind of do it to someone else that can kind of Isn't coaching kind of like a sailboat, and you're kind of navigating to a destination that you want to get to?
Navigating, nudging to get in the right direction, because sometimes you don't need to turn the tiller all the way over. You just have to just bump it a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes it's very small change that make a drastic difference, especially if you project it, like Tony Robbins talks about, projecting it out over the years.
Yep.
Miraculous stuff's can happen just because you took a different turn.
And well, one analogy I love to use myself is that one little click, just one shift of the gear, everything falls into place at that point, and then you're set. Everything just becomes so clear, and then you're just going down the road, improving and achieving more than you ever thought you could do.
I had that for a while. I had issues with abandonment, and I didn't know what it was. And I started working with a coach. He also did breath work. And it was kind of miraculous. What happened was I didn't even know that I had abandonment issues. It was just kind of weird when my wife would go out with the girls. I would feel like, how come I'm not involved? It just felt kind of weird. And turns out the way it all played out is I was doing this breathwork session with this guy, and I came out of the session craving chocolate like crazy. I was just craving chocolate so bad. And we had talked about possible abandonment stuff with the parents because I had alcoholic parents. And I was craving chocolate so bad, I stopped at the store and got a 6-pack of Nut Goody candy bars, and I gobbled them down. I had 4 of them on the way home. The next session, the next week, we started talking and realized that as I was a kid, mom and dad go out drinking, they would come back and they would treat me with a Nut Goody candy bar.
And NLP coaching, that's called programming. And you were programmed with that. And so whenever you would have a memory or a feeling associated with that part of your life, that's what would actually cause the trigger, because you were programmed to actually expect this.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty about NLP programming.
Yeah, I never would have figured that out if that guy wouldn't have asked me the right question about the alcoholic parents going out, because they're just going out to dinner or going out to drinking, having a good time. But to me, it was like, as a little 10-year-old boy at home by himself, it was probably very traumatic. But as an adult, I figured, that's no big deal, nothing to worry about. But it was a big deal because it affected everything else in my life. So that's kind of like you talk about that click. It doesn't just affect the relationship with my wife. It might affect with clients, friends, my relationship with a higher power. It might affect every relationship I've got, even my relationship with myself.
Exactly. That was the one I was trying to get you to pull. You had to have a good relationship with yourself before you can have a relationship with anybody else.
Exactly. Because you feel bad.
Right. But there's no reason to feel bad. That's something else I try to coach is the lessons are important. The emotions are strong. Here's the problem with that. If you latch onto the emotion, you won't learn the lesson.
Sure, you'll stay in that protect yourself space.
Exactly. You will stay in that, okay, I don't like remembering this because of how I'm feeling about that or how I felt when this happened. I said, okay, that's fine. But what was the lesson? And emotions are so powerful, they can overwhelm any lesson that is being taught or that is there or that is being shown or whatever it is. Now, let me ask you a question about this real quick. What was your age when this happened?
I don't really know, but I'm guessing between like 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that.
See the smile?
Yeah.
Okay. Everything that shapes us into the adult that we are, we picked up through, obviously, parents, as we've already been discussing. We also pick up observations from our friends and stuff like that. And between the ages of 7 and 14, that is when you're most impressionable. Everything you learn, everything you observe, everything you experience shapes your adulthood.
Sure.
And so when you learn to say, okay, this is the lesson, they were showing me a whole bunch of bad here. This is not a good idea, but it's so ingrained in you that you will continue that until you actually almost physically break the cycle.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about taking your parents out behind the woodshed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the mental /
Right.
physical break it to do in your head.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to put this graphic up here.
Sure.
The Phoenix mindset, because it seems like that's kind of what we're talking about, is the pain into power, where Tony Robbins would talk about pain and pleasure, where you run away from pain and you go towards pleasure. But it's the same energy.
Yes,
basically.
it is.
It's just a direction that it's going. And if you can, the reality is I didn't die, and if I would have died, if you believe in God, that's a good place to be.
It's either that or this is a really good AI that's really responding to me quite well. It's one of the two things. But I'll take it at face value. You're still alive.
Yeah. So that little pivot can, the rising of the Phoenix kind of thing. You got to go through all them troubles and tribulations, and instead of getting mad and pissed off, like my DWI situation was, the judges, it's the judge's fault and the cops, and you're blaming it. And the reality is I had alcoholic parents and I was covering up wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my way of, what do they call it? Dealing with it.
I'm actually trying to remember that right now. Okay, I'm cheating. I'm going to Google real quick here to get the correct phrase. But no, there's another phrase that I like to use.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find it as well because I'm cool like that. Let's see. Where is it?
Like rationalizing would be kind of part of it.
Using
it to protect yourself.
Where is that phrase?
A defense mechanism kind of thing.
But you know what? We've been talking about a whole bunch of negative stuff. Let's talk about how to change it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. I want the Phoenix to rise now.
That's right.
So first you got to discover that switch has got to be flipped. Then you got to find where the heck that switch is. And that's kind of how working with a coach can kind of get you to start asking yourself different questions.
Exactly. This is from the introduction of my book. It's going to be released come Monday morning.
Monday?
Yes.
Today's Wednesday.
Yep. I'm still waiting on a forward because one of my friends wants to put a forward in there about me and things like that. So I'm waiting for that. After that, it's going to Amazon Publishing, and 3 days after I submit it, it'll be available on Amazon Prime, on Amazon.com. There comes a point in every person's life when the fire finds you. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't arrive with a warning. It shows up in the form of a heartbreak, loss, betrayal, or that quiet ache that whispers, there has to be more to life than this. For me, that fire came in stages. At first, it looked like a struggle, the kind of struggle that shapes you before you're old enough to understand. Later, it becomes frustration. Everything I thought was destroying me was actually trying to rebuild me. That's what this book is about. Not avoiding the fire, but learning how to rise from it. I didn't set out to become a life coach. I'm a dopey truck driver. Okay, come on. I didn't wake up one day with a perfect clarity about purpose, self-worth, and confidence. I grew up like many people, trying to find my place in a world that didn't always make sense, shaped by experiences that left marks I didn't know how to name. I learned to survive before I ever learned to thrive. And a survival, though necessary, has a cost. You get used to the struggle. You start believing that this is just how it is. Woe is me. Eeyore's my spirit animal. But deep down, a small voice keeps whispering that there's something more. Something waiting beyond the ashes of what was. That voice is the phoenix within. That's the first part, and this is shaping up to be a 100-page book.
Well, it's kind of miraculous that the pivot can be so small. And to me, when I quit drinking, I quit cold turkey. I mean, my alcohol story, alcoholic parents, so I can blame it on them.
Yeah.
The first one, I had a lot of alcohol in my blood. Second one was less. The third one, I only had one beer, but when it happened, I saw the lights in the rearview mirror. I said, I quit. So that was a decision, not a choice, but a decision where I cut it off. So I had no other place to go other than sobriety.
Yep.
And making that decision, sometimes it's hard for people, and they will, I'll just drink that NA stuff, or I'll just drink when I go out of town or whatever. But you got to, Like I don't do any alcohol anymore. I don't do kombuchas or nothing. I don't ingest any alcohol if I can help it. Just I don't do it. It's not a thing I do. It's done. And it's hard to get to that place because I'm sure when you're working with clients, they've got all sorts of excuses about this. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. They use that 4-letter word, can't.
Yep. And what I have found in some of my clients is they'll have this instance and then this instance. But this instance is causing this, and this instance is causing this. I say, well, which is it? Which one do you want to follow? Which one do you want to do? Which one? Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
I've said that many times when I'm talking to clients, when I'm trying to calibrate one of my friends. That happens sometimes. I've had a couple of come to Jesus meetings. But they're like, which is it? You can't have it both ways. And so when that little nick, and again, this variation of course happens, you find yourself in a new area, an unfamiliar area.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because you're out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is so detrimental, and it is because it doesn't challenge you. You don't challenge yourself. You don't let other challenges. The comfort zone is another way detrimental because, yeah, you know what to expect. Okay, if I do this, if I pick up the bottle, I know I'll get drunk. I'll hang out with tomorrow morning, and then I'll deal with it then. If you don't drink, all of a sudden you have this idle time on your hands. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. It's that.
Well, I screwed around and wrote a second book. And now I'm putting together a workbook that goes with the book.
I think it's the fear of the unknown, so you don't want to take that step because you don't know if there's anything solid underneath that.
Is solid or just scary? I mean,
yeah,
I'm here, I'm doing this. Okay, this happened. Insert issue X here. And when that happens, you have two choices. Jump back to your safe zone or explore and see what happened. And the reason I love to see what happened when something goes wrong is because of a name named Thomas Edison. And the one quote he said, those many years ago, I didn't fail 10,000 times to make a commercially available light bulb. I found 10,000 ways not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, that's another message within that is you're not starting from scratch if you try it again. You're already starting from experience.
Yes.
So okay, don't do that. Let's do that. Because then, if something else goes wrong, it'll be something completely different, and that's fine. But you already got this figured out, then you have this figured out, and you know what's going to happen? Pretty soon you're going to run out of things to break. And you know what's going to happen then? It's going to work.
That's another thing, another reason for working with coaches. I mean, I'm trying to give you a little play and stuff off of this.
Okay.
But you guys know when to make that pivot. Like when one thing happens, say it's alcohol addiction. Mm-hmm. If you know the right questions to have them make that pivot, and then it doesn't just affect the alcohol consumption. It could be you have other addictions like or fears, we'll call them. I don't want to pick up the phone because I don't like cold calling. Yeah. What's the fear? What's going to happen? A green hand going to reach out of the phone and grab you? No, nothing's going to happen. So why not make that call? Or even knocking on doors or talking to girls or your whatever. Why not just try it? It ain't going to hurt. Nope. But you go back to that kind of comfort zone thing. It's like, I want to go back in my baby crib.
Exactly. Another issue that a lot of people are having, especially when I'm trying to help, because there's 5 stages of my coaching program. First, we're building the confidence. Then we're building the motivation. Then we're building the self-esteem. Those are the first 3 we build. And then the next one is relationships. And that's where I talk about this thing called the crab mentality.
Crab?
Mm-hmm.
You mean like the
sea
creature?
Yeah, deadliest catch stuff. Yeah, crabs.
Okay.
Now, the crab mentality, what you can do if you want to go find a whole bunch of crabs, put them in a bucket. Okay. What's going to happen is one's going to say, I want to go over here. The rest of those crabs that are in that bucket are going to pull that person back down. Now, equate that to the 5 people you hang out with the most. A lot of times, not intentionally, that this happens. But what happens is you'll get phrases thrown at you such as, why would you want to do something like that? You're doing just fine the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
Or no one like you has ever done this before. And a lot of times it's not malicious. It is they're expressing their fear that you're going to do better than they are.
Oh, that's a different way of looking at it. I was thinking they're trying to help you, but they're actually more worried about themselves than.
No, pull up a YouTube video about crabs in a bucket. Watch what happens.
Okay.
They'll pull you down.
Yeah, that's why you got to have a good circle of friends that you
Exactly.
can trust.
And one of the biggest things I've learned is you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. What are those 5 people thinking or talking? How do they talk to you? What do they say a lot? Are they trying to say, hey, do you want to go? Let's go. Let's find out together. I'll give you an example of how uplifting versus pulling down works. My first book, From Turmoil to Transformation. I was challenged by a business coach. Okay, you've got your one sheet. You've got 3 different worksheets already done. What else can I do? You're going to write a book. I'm going to what? Exactly. And this guy's 10,000 miles away in Australia, built like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, you know, he's got muscles everywhere. He's also a former addict from heroin. He's got a book out too. And so I want to write a book, huh? Okay, well, 94 days later, I had a book out. This is not a literary masterpiece.
More functional.
It's in 17 font, set up for large print because I was trying to get 74 pages out of it. Okay. But I just described some of a lot of the detail of what was going on during my childhood, those impressionable age 14 years. Mm-hmm. And when you combine that with this next book coming out, completely different color set, completely different everything. Oh my God, I had to figure out what my color palette is going to be on Canva. You'll see that. And then there's going to be I'm working on a workbook. Hopefully I'll have it done by this weekend too, so I can release them as a set. So this way they can see what I've been through, see what steps I've taken, and they can take those same steps to improve themselves as well.
Now this, I'm assuming on your website, I got your website right here, that you've got something on there about if someone's interested in what it is you're doing, that they can sign up for a complimentary consultation.
Yes, they can.
Get a feel if they like you or vice versa.
Exactly. I mean, okay, let's go back to the beginning of this interview. How many coaches do you know?
How many do I know?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got time to count.
My point exactly. Okay. But we all have our different style of coaching. How many people are teaching Rising from the Ashes? Quite a few, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. We all have our different style. I'm not trying to step on anyone else's toes. I know someone's not trying to step on my toes. You know, there's 3 books called The Phoenix Within released this year.
Sure.
I'm about to do the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in my style and in my voice. This is how I did it. There's not one know-all, see-all, do-all guru of life coaching. There's not. We all have our own approach. We have our own style. We have our own voice. That's why I decided, oh my God, I made this mistake late last week. Oh my God, I Googled The Phoenix Within. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, come on. But then I talked to a friend in one of my Toastmasters clubs. And she said, it doesn't matter. Did you use anything from the book? I said, I didn't know the book existed until 2 days ago.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's only one you, you know?
Exactly. And that's exactly my whole point.
And then you have to resonate with the other person.
Exactly.
If you try and pair somebody up and they're like a pro-life and a pro-choice person, and they get to like each other, and I find out, oh, I don't agree with you, then all of a sudden it separates.
Yeah, exactly.
It's best to start from a common space. That's why I tell people, why don't you do that free? Just get to know the guy.
Yeah.
If you like him. And if you do, then you can move forward. If you don't, go somewhere else. It's okay. There's an abundance.
You know, I mean, I'm here to help people. I mean, if I'm not it for you, but you still need the help, I know 3 or 4 different coaches I can refer you to. That's no problem.
Totally agree. Speaking of which, we gone for 25 minutes. Normally I do these for 20. We had so much fun. Time flew.
Exactly. I love it too.
That's the way it goes. Yep. I like talking to coaches. Again, I think it's really important that someone sees that someone else can ask them the right questions, because if you're asking yourself the questions, your ego is protecting you, and it's going to give you the wrong answer.
Yep. That is very true.
You can't give it's going to protect you.
Yep. And there's that comfort zone again.
Yeah. It's like having an overprotective mother that won't. Like a good example, I've got a friend that his mom was very protective. So, don't eat that. There's dirt on that. You get germs. Look out for the germs. And for me, I don't care what I eat dirt, stuff. I'm super healthy. He gets sick all the time. So his mom protected him too much, and he didn't get a chance to get those antibodies to help prevent him from getting sick all the time.
Exactly. I lived in a small town called Slaughterville, Oklahoma. Okay. You cannot spell Slaughterville without laughter. So just remember that. But I remember many times going face planting into the dirt. There's more iron in this one, and then run off again. You know,
you want health food? Go get in the mud.
Exactly. You don't need that. You just need to boost your immune system. I mean, come on.
Well, Michael, I'm gonna sign this one off, and we can maybe do this again sometime. If you want, you can go into the green room, and we've got some. We changed all the digital hors d'oeuvres out.
Okay.
So there's new stuff there. You can help yourself.
Okay.
And is there anything else you want to share before we shut this off, Michael?
A book is going to be released Monday on Amazon, The Phoenix Within. The workbook I'm hoping to have done at the same time. If not, it'll be the following Monday. And you can contact me at, hope everyone gets the pencils written down. I get things written down here, 405-310-9189. That's my business line.
Or maybe they can just sign up for your newsletter on building life foundations.
They can also sign up for the newsletter. The website, I do need to rework some things on that. So I'll probably be doing that later this afternoon.
It's an ongoing process.
It is. I think that schedule free consultation link is broken right now. So I need to check that real quick.
It's always something.
Yep, it is.
Okey doke. Well, I'm going to pop you in the green room. If you want to stick around, we can have some more conversation. Other than that, I'm going to close this one out.
All right.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it.
See you in a minute.
Well, there you go, Michael Barnes. And here it is, the Phoenix Mindset, Turning Pain to Power. It's right there. And you can find him at that website right there. He's fixing it all up for you, getting everything up current. And look for it on Amazon. And when you go on there, just type in Michael Barnes Phoenix, and then you'll find his book instead of the other ones. Okay. Appreciate you taking the time to be on Synergy Cafe. Enjoy your life. Be good, be kind, and be nice. Did I say be nice? Be nice.